starting with Alina. Alina, would you like to just give a context about yourself and, building Mitti Cafe at such a young age, and probably some stories about Mitti Cafe, the life at Mitti Cafe, as such?
Sure. Am I allowed to move around? Allowed?
Yeah.
Achha, achha. So, for all of y'all who are sleeping, the next few minutes that we spend together, we promise you that you will be awake with a lot of newfound hope, and let me give it a shot. Vineet, to your question, I'll take you all back a couple of years. I was this 22-year-old in college, final semester, waiting for placements that finally I will get onto a job, and then I'll earn some money and send some money home, and with the rest party. So that's what I thought. But God had other plans, and I get to meet this one guy through a documentary, and he changed my life. And you know who this guy is? His name is Nero. So Nero was an emperor in the ancient Roman Empire, mighty rich. You see, he would win one war after the other, and one day he wins the biggest battle of his life. And when you win, up kya karte ho? What do? You party, you celebrate. So he decided to throw a party, and he invited the who's who of Tinseltown. He invited kings and queens, princes and princesses from across 7 kingdoms. And as evening befell, Nero said, "Boss, we need some lights to make the party happening and rocking." So he decided to burn waste to generate light. He decided to burn the prisoners of war and the poor people who were captured, who he considered not more than waste. I was 22 then, sitting in that classroom. What I realized was that the problem is not Nero. You could equate Nero with atrocities, injustice, discrimination, all the not so nice things that exist in this world. What we fight against, why we are in this panel, and why we hold so many panels to really create that awareness. So the problem was not Nero. The problem was Nero's guests. As to how thousands of them could sing, dance, drink when fellow human beings burned and died. And at that point of time, that 22-year-old realized that I was one of Nero's guests. That is, if you feel something about anything, and if you're not willing to take action, then you've taken a side. And unfortunately, that side is that of the oppressor. I decided I will not sit for college placements. And having been brought up by my own grandmother who had a disability, all that I could see in her while growing up was abilities. So when I started working with these organizations that work in the inclusion space, one simple thing I realized, so I'm a mother to a 1-year-old, he'll be jumping here and there, and you all can play with him. When we conceive, what do we say? We want a healthy child. What does a healthy child mean? A child without a disability? The problem is not that there are 70 million, there are 7 crore plus people with disabilities in India and over 1 billion people with disabilities across the world. The problem is the larger statistics, and you know what that is? That is the disability in our perceptions that stops us from seeing the magic in their abilities, and I wanted to challenge and change just that. I needed a common denominator that could connect people to people, and what better than, like all of y'all are hungry, so you all will be able to identify best. What better than food to connect people to people? So food or cafes is a medium to do 2 simple things. One is money should enter the accounts of our amazing team members, like Swami Gowda. And more importantly, being able to create awareness about inclusion with every meal or beverage that we serve. So Vineet, when I started my journey, I started it with 0 startup capital. Multiple rejections, I did not even know what CapEx and OpEx means. Which is when the power of the community came in. Scarcity leads to creativity, leads to desperation, leads to a leech-like attitude, shamelessness, all great assets for all of us to have. So I went from door to door, shop to shop, house to house, asking people to join the movement of inclusion. So right from the spoon, second-hand oven, second-hand fridge, tissue papers were donated by people I didn't know, by the community. That's how we started our first cafe in a dilapidated tin shed full of generations of rats, which the student community helped us clean. You know, our first employee, she came in crawling for the interview because at that point of time, her family could not afford a wheelchair. You would give her this mic, her hands would shake and it would fall. Today, this same girl, sitting on her wheelchair, she manages 10 other people with disabilities. She's the manager for our first cafe. Her name is Kirti. As I talk to you, we have hundreds of Kirtis. across the 46 Mitti Cafes that we have, including inside the Supreme Court of India, which was inaugurated by the Chief Justice of our country, and inside the Rashtrapati Bhavan, which was inaugurated by the President of our country, thereby sending a message to the entire country about the importance of diversity, equity, inclusion. Lastly, we are our stories. So when Bhairappa came in, Bhairappa has dwarfism, motor disability, and mild intellectual disability. He was rejected at 80 plus jobs, which is post that we got lucky. That's Orhan. And when Bhairappa came in, he came in barefoot because he did not know the concept of wearing slippers or even brushing his teeth. Today, Bhairappa, how many of y'all visit the Bangalore International Airport? All of y'all. So meet Bhairappa, he's our team lead in the Bangalore International Airport. And not just that, when persons with disabilities come in now, for the world to see their abilities, that will happen eventually. But for us, the larger challenge is, guys, to show them the mirror to their abilities after years of rejection, after years of being told they're not good enough. Bhairappa once told me, Didi, I didn't have friends while growing up. In his village, he was considered a child of ill omen, and no villager would let their children play with him. Today, Bhairappa, he's found friends at Mitti. He's become team lead, but he was told something even more painful. And you know what that is? Because of your disability, there'll be nobody to love you. Love to sabko chahiye. Money hai, nahi hai, it's okay, but everybody wants love. But don't be too sad. Then he met Rupa. Then Bhairappa was working at Mitti Cafe Wipro. And this one was working at Mitti Cafe Infosys. So this was an Infosys Wipro love story. And they got married. So we have 27 plus love stories, third marriages at Mitti Cafe. And next in line is Swami Gowda. He is also finding a bride. No, but while we
Alin,
talk
can
about...
you be quick?
While we talk about One Kirti, the aim is to reach out to the billionth Kirti across the world for whom economic independence and dignity is not yet a reality, and for which the community is the power. Yeah.
I think that was powerful, Alina. Over to Pavithra. Pavithra, you have been more than a decade starting up Vindhya. We just wanted to know your story, but more importantly, what's the client reactions when you have such a diverse group working at Vindhya? I think it's full of stories. I keep on reading your LinkedIn chai with Pavithra, but yeah.
Coffee in Bangalore. Yeah. Okay. So at Vindhya, what we do is we run a BPO, and this BPO primarily employs people who otherwise do not have an opportunity to be employed. So Vindhya started in 2006. I think there's something with this age 21, 22, because I also started when I was 21, and I was also figuring out what should I do. Should I join a corporate? Should I start something? That's when my life started, where I was already daughter, wife, mother, daughter-in-law, and then I said, okay, where is this Pavithra? Let me bring her out, and let me do something which is different. And that's when this Vindhya started, because I knew Excel sheets. Beyond that, because I'm a commerce student, I didn't know anything else. Then my husband said, data entry is something you can start, and that's how the journey of Vindhya started. And like Alina was saying, my journey at Vindhya was also like I say, ignorance is total bliss. For me, I didn't know what disability was. I didn't know how to work with people with disabilities. All I knew was there was one day a person who was with disability crossing a road, and we said, why not we employ? Because the first thing when people talk about BPOs are attrition, this is the last option, people may not value this job and all of these things. Then we said we will bring in a set of people who actually value anything that is given to them, and we will create a very niche set of people who can really, value job and create value for not just themselves, but the larger world out there. And that's when, my fourth or fifth person who came into Vindhya was also somebody who was on a tricycle. We didn't have a lift, we didn't have ramp. He just said, ma'am, let's do this interview. And I was waiting for him at the ground floor. And he said, I panicked and I said, I'm so sorry, I can't do this, because we don't have any of these things, and I didn't know that it was a need. He said, ma'am, let's get started. That's how Vindhya got started, with people with any kind of disability, and they said that, we will have to be in this together. You can only know when we are in this together as what I really want, and it just started that we both climbed the stairs together, I with my feet and he with his hands. So together, there are a lot of hands which has come together who have really kind of made us understand how this really works and what is that. So we've learned sign language. Somebody said, you teach me sign language. I teach you sign language and you teach me your job. That's how, people with hearing impaired started working at Vindhya. So all my clients initially, of course, 18 years ago, there was a big question mark. There were only two questions. Are they productive? Can they deliver? Is it really possible for somebody to come and do this critical job? Because for us, customer satisfaction and all of these KPIs and everything. But I think only thing which came back was, more references and more business, because Vindhya doesn't believe in having a business development team. Our customers who really talk about the work, the kind of quality or the commitment and the deliverables, which is key for any corporate, and that's where we are.
No, this is powerful. Alina, you have a competition to be the youngest. I actually thought you were the youngest, but Pavithra actually
Good competition. That's how we win.
So I think while Alina is creating opportunities through food and Pavithra is creating opportunities through the center, and it's actually more than, she'll be closing more than 2 decades in this. Kapil, what's your story, especially, growing out of Udaipur? And I think when I see this panel, it's 50% representation of women, people with disabilities, and even cities. Yeah, Kapil.
I just thought that, am I audible? Hello? I just thought that we were having a panel discussion. Listening to Alina, I thought, let's go on with stories. Yeah. Our organization, we started about 15 years back in Udaipur. We were volunteering at orphanages, and I was getting paid well, worked with companies in Australia, UK, Japan, engineering by background. And then something was missing, and that's how we started at the basement of our home, which is still functioning even after 15 years of existence, having office in places like Bangalore, New York, Mumbai, Udaipur, Jamshedpur, Hubli, where not. While it's a BPO, when we started, we thought that we would go and pitch that we employ people from tribes, we employ people basically who are single women, single earning member for the family. One thing that we got as a reflection from all the corporates, and even sometimes today also when I talked to a few, I got was, our CSR program is not running as of now, right? So, which was sad. And we were so pushed and punched to kind of make it happen. Today, Vaishali, who is part of our team for almost 15 years now, from day one she has been there. She started removing staple pins for scanning of documents. Today, she is processing health records in German, Deutsch languages. Gendi, who used to, again, come crawling on her hands, 8 months later bought a scooty, and pillion was Vaishali, who was a paranormal person like us. Right? So I think there are multiple stories like this. We are still finding our feet. We are trying to challenge the norms. But yes, what's most important thing is to look at the figures that we have. We have, I think, close to about 44% people who are normal, and 56%, including me, who are trying to behave as if we are normal. So the diversity ratio stands at about 44%. Thank you.
Thank you, Kapil, for that. And I think this word normal, I think normal is defined by the majority. I think so. I think this is a very subjective word itself. What was normal 500 years ago is not normal right now. So, but yeah, over to Pavithra quickly. As for the topic, right? Skill, will, or opportunity. Let's say companies here have the will, the intent is there. But companies also talk about a lot of skilling gaps, and we are closing on 2 decades of work. So could you probably also talk about on how did you find the skill, and if there was a skill gap, what did you take in your organization to keep it as inclusive and keep it at an equal level? So just tell us some of the action items which
Sure.
you did. Yeah.
So at Vindhya, what initially we said was, I think one of the key qualification to be part of Vindhya is positive attitude and willingness to do something in life. And then later what we did was, there were a lot of different people who, I mean, a lot of our people primarily are from rural areas and who've never been a part of the work experience at all. So we've created a small academy inside, which primarily understands what are those skills which are required. So my HR, when they do a proper screening, there is a rejection committee which I am part of. My KRA in this rejection committee is primarily to see less rejections and see that good number of people get into the jobs. So what we do here is we identify skills. It's just not possible only within our own academy. We have partnered with a lot of NGOs and a lot of skilling partners who help us, and as and when we identify their need, we kind of give a conditional offer letter for people who come to us for interviews, and we say that in the next 3 months, okay, this is a training, this NGO partner is willing to kind of train you, and fortunately it is all free. So they go, they get trained, they come back, and as part of employment, what we've also done is we've created that ecosystem. We provide accommodation, because a lot of people who are from rural areas who move to cities do not have the support in the city, in the around offices. So we've created, accommodation. We ensure that, we provide food at subsidized cost. For women who move from different parts, there is a daycare facility so that children are taken care of. There is also one-child education support which is provided. So whoever comes to Vindhya, we want to ensure that they are provided with all the support, and all their work is to kind of look towards getting themselves skilled and then move ahead. And it doesn't end there. After skilling, after identifying a job role, it is evolving, right? I mean, one technology has played as a very big enabler for us across all our processes which we've been doing. We have ensured that sign language is a part of our curriculum, and we do not have exclusive interpreters who come and train us. So while people are on the floor, they get trained, they speak to everybody, and they become a part of it. So that's how we ensure whatever not possible in the training room can happen outside the training room. And there are buddies who are a little different and who ensure that they give them a different perspective altogether about the job role, about what they can do and what really their expectations are. And we've also created video training modules for people who actually feel after the training room, I feel like I've forgotten or I am not able to relate. For them, we have a training module which they can just go back and play like a YouTube video and try to kind of understand what they feel is the gap. So like this we have created, and there is also a program where which is Win Champs. A lot of our internal people who become leaders, who have traveled this journey, become that leader who will handhold, ensure that people who have issues are being given the right support, just like the way they felt before, and today it's just easy. So it's just that ensuring normalizing everything across the organization.
I think give it up for Pavithra. This is such a comprehensive answer where companies think that intent is there. But actually she took care of all the reasons, and this rejection committee is new to me. And actually this reminds me of my brother actually, who was blind, and he was appearing for in IIM Bangalore with one of the investment bankers, and he told the panel that if you look at things which I cannot do, you will find 100. Try to look at things which I can do. And he eventually now started his own iBank and as such, and doing pretty well. So I think amazing story, Pavithra. I'll come to Kapil. Kapil, how do you see the skilling in the country? And also because there is a huge skilling gap, which a lot of companies see. But as Pavithra mentioned, we need to take on comprehensive steps, because the idea is unless you give the marginalized community an opportunity, they'll never succeed, right? The idea of diversity and inclusion is also to take in that comprehensive approach.
So I think the dimension of diversity and inclusion is way beyond gender, ability, or disability, right? For example, India is such a big country and have, I think, I don't know how many dialects, maybe thousands of dialects that we speak. It's a very, very challenging task. One of the things that I've always spoken to our customers is that don't look at us as a business that does something for a cause. Look at us as a business that is able to deliver to the best in the world. We build and train AI models. Our RPA, IPA engineers are not even graduate, but they solve complex problems. For an organization of about 4,000 people, we are just about 6 MIS execs, which means that most of the things that we have to do are automated. So it's about just identifying the intent. Skilling is just a factor of time. And I don't think that, for example, if you talk to anybody, you judge based on who you are talking to. On the other side of the conversation that you're having or other problems that you're solving, whether it is on the technology side or otherwise. We, in fact, started building platform to bridge this gap, right? So that if at the end of the day, if we are into the industry which is more on the, say, customer experience side or marching towards the AI world, how would we keep ourselves relevant, people who are in huge numbers relevant? So we started building platforms, and today our platforms are enabling these people to kind of deliver same or better level of experience, possibly comparing with the best of the world in that way. So I think it's more about identifying the right programs and identifying the right approach, using technology in the right way, and the problems get solved. So I think that's how it should be. Should not be looked from a perspective that I am running a business for some reason. Should be looked at what are the competencies that we are bringing on table. And that's how we have seen our customers, stick with us. We have got my first customer who started with us 15 years back, still with us, right? So I think that's the testimony of performance that you deliver. And these are same set of people who are there. In fact, we ran a program wherein we run a program wherein people who come in who are not graduate, we will fund your education if you stay with us. And it's not that we are funding it, it's you who are funding for yourself, but we are just enabling you as a platform. So I think these are little things that you could do, and I think all of us do it in small or big way.
No, these are great things, Kapil. I'll come to Alina. Alina, in fact, these Mitti cafes at different centers, I really see that as, inclusion and sensitization at be it Supreme Court or campuses or even corporates, right? When there are so many stereotypes and awareness about people with disabilities, you can always say that, hey, cafe and watch them for yourselves. Would you like to just probably speak one, obviously on the awareness, because I don't see Mitti Cafe only as a food destination. And second, how about skilling for people whom you hire at Mitti Cafe?
So Vineet, very simple.
No.
So Mitti Cafes, right now we are at 46. We become 100. We employ 1,000 people. We train 10,000. We talk about 6 million people only in India who have disabilities. Doesn't move the needle. So for us, a larger impact matrix is the awareness that we create through our cafe. So with every meal or beverage that we serve, with our change makers with disabilities who are not doing a 9 to 5, they own it. All of these people own the cafes. They are our change makers in the forefront, creating awareness through natural interactions. Now, the only form of development that I know is inclusive development. Every other form of development is pseudo. And we've all gone through lockdowns in life, right? Because of COVID. If we go outside the house, it's a problem. If we stay indoors, it's a problem. So much of frustration, loss of livelihoods, persons with disabilities, because of inaccessible infrastructure, because of inaccessible attitudes, inaccessible perceptions are kept in a lockdown for an entire lifetime. And that is something that we absolutely need to change. So when, for example, when we talk about skilling cannot happen one way, it has to happen two ways. So I have also got trained. And I remember when Sabiha came in, Sabiha has got multiple sclerosis, very severe disability, no control over her hands or her legs. You must be wondering what use is a Sabiha to a Mitti Cafe. Kirti she's on a wheelchair, she can move her, at least she can utilize her hands, right? Now we tried to put Sabiha in the kitchen. It was a big flop. It didn't work out. Then we realized that Sabiha has got the gift of the gab. You know what that means? If you come in for a 10 rupees chai, she will talk you out of 50 rupees combo meal. That is her strength. And by the way, the Sabiha has outgrown Mitti Cafe like so many of our team members. She has now left Mitti Cafe. She has started her own kirana shop. She has deployed a person with Down syndrome and she's one of our vendors. So it's such as the power of believing in the underdogs and realizing that every person, disability or not, has some ability. And that is what one must recognize and remember. Compassion and courage, guys, are two weapons that can eradicate any problem that our world faces today. And each of you all in this room have that in plenty. So use it.
So I think this panel's time is up, but the speakers would be here during the day, so catch them up. We would have loved to take audience questions, but yeah, in the paucity of time, probably let's catch hold of them post this. I think brilliant learning session for all of us here. Thank you, Alina. I think continue on the great work. Kapil, and amazing, exciting work with 5S. Pavithra, again, 2 decades, and we hope more people with disabilities and marginalized group are employed through you. So yeah, signing off.
And big round of applause for Vineet running Atypical Advantage.
One of the most inspirational entrepreneurs that I know in my life. You are my inspiration, Vineet. Thank you for everything that you do and everything that you represent.
On that note, I'd like to request all of you to please give them a big round of applause once again. We just heard from our experts on PWD inclusion.
For more content on tech and leadership, subscribe to nasscom YouTube channel and press the bell icon to never miss an update.